Hope you guys are wonderful. A few weeks ago, I put up a post looking at the outcome of a form of Christianity, a theology that exists in Christianity called once saved, always saved, and how it empowers Christians to untether themselves from religious commitments in the face of those who they consider as sinners or evildoers, oftentimes with violent consequences. Now watch this.
I'm just as excited about Jesus.
Et je suis juste excité
right
de
here,
Jésus.
right now.
Jusqu'à présent, même maintenant.
And when I get excited,
Et quand je suis excité,
I want to dance.
je veux danser.
And what Jesus did for me.
C'est que Jésus a fait pour moi.
Jesus is God.
Jésus est
Almighty
Dieu.
God.
C'est le Dieu.
That is Vance Boelter, who is responsible for unaliving a number of people in Minnesota on the political left, acting in the most undemocratic way, having a list of people as he represented himself as law enforcement that he hoped to unalive, and it's being dismissed as bad politics. Man, as Muslims, if we sneeze on a bus, they will somehow blame it on theology. But they give these guys a pass. But I would say it's bad theology. Trump may have been the lighter, but the raw material is bad theology. A few weeks ago, I talked about this, and this is how it all comes together. Look up St. Augustine. St. Augustine of Hippo. He could not even read Aramaic or Greek, but he's a saint. And he's responsible for many of the understandings, specifically in their charismatic and evangelical churches, once saved, always saved, that have led to what we're seeing today, this undemocratic attitude, undermining the institutions of democracy in America, as well as the pain and violence inflicted on the people in Gaza and Iran and other parts of the world. It all comes back to St. Augustine, who, for example, in his relying on the Latin Vulgate, incapable scholarship of reading Greek and Aramaic, relying on a translation that is known to be full of disasters that become the foundations of Christian and dogma of Christian theology. Go, for example, to Luke 14:23, where the verse in Greek is to compel them with force, but not violently compel them. St. Augustine, reading the Latin Vulgate, understood it to mean you can violently compel people, and that becomes the foundation for his own ideas towards the end of his life, where people were killed who opposed him, who were Christians. And now you take that bad translation and that bad idea that no one in church wants to ask questions about. You never even thought about it before. If you're watching this, go and ask your pastor. Go and push in and ask these questions. And ask, why has this been mistranslated? But we are still living our doctrine and our dogma to a mistranslation that is undermining the institutions of democracy and justifying massacre overseas. So Luke 14:23 doesn't say you can forcefully compel anyone, but that's how he understood it. And it became the foundation of why he believed that babies had to be baptized. Why he says in some of his quotes that it is better to kill heretics, what he deemed as heretics, than to let them live, because to let them live would let them to live in a life of sin, and to oppose those who did not align with his ideas with the sword. Oftentimes what they blame us as Muslims for doing, that's their history, and that's what they've been doing forever. But that's a different discussion. Right now, we have to talk about healing democracy and coming together and recognizing the problems that are undoing the bonds of civil society. We saw one the other day, and it wasn't bad politics. It was bad theology.